As the morning sun filtered through the blinds of Dr. Aarav Sharma's office, the faint hum of the air conditioner mixed with the rustle of papers on his desk, a urologist with over a decade of experience, Aarav had seen it all: patients with concerns ranging from kidney stones to prostate issues. But today, as he sipped his chai and glanced at his appointment list, one name stood out: Rowan. A 28-year-old software engineer who had booked a consultation with a note that simply read, "Personal concern urgent." Aarav had a hunch about what this might be. He'd heard similar vague requests before, often tied to questions men were too shy to ask outright. Rowan arrived right on time, his posture slightly hunched, eyes darting nervously as he sat across from Aarav. The young man fidgeted with his phone, avoiding eye contact. Aarav leaned forward, his voice calm and reassuring. "Rowan, whatever's on your mind, you can talk openly here. No judgment." After a long pause, Rowan finally spoke, his voice barely above a whisper. "Doc, I want to know if I'm normal. You know, down there." Size-wise, Aarav nodded, unsurprised. It was one of the most common questions men asked, though rarely with such hesitation. He leaned back, ready to guide Rowan through the facts with the same clarity he'd offered countless others. "First things first," Aarav began, "let's talk about what normal means. The idea of a normal penis size has been skewed by myths, media, and misinformation. Studies, reliable ones, done across diverse populations, give us a clearer picture." He pulled out a small notepad and sketched a quick graph, not for show but to ground the conversation in data. The average erect penis length, based on global studies, is about 5.1 to 5.5 inches, with a range of roughly 3.5 to 6.5 inches being within the normal spectrum. For girth, the average is around 4.5 to 4.8 inches in circumference when erect. Flexed sizes vary more widely, but they're less relevant because function matters more than appearance. Rowan's eyes widened slightly, as if he was mentally measuring himself against these numbers. Aarav continued, "These numbers come from studies like the one published in the British Journal of Urology, which looked at thousands of men across different countries. The key takeaway: there's a wide range of normal, and most men fall within it." Rowan shifted in his seat, his curiosity piqued but his nervousness still evident. "Okay, but how do I know where I stand? Like, how do I even measure properly?" Aarav smiled, appreciating the practical question. He reached for a drawer and pulled out a small ruler and a flexible tailor's tape, tools he kept for demonstrations like this. "Measuring accurately is important if you want to compare to these studies," he said. "But it's not as simple as grabbing a ruler and going for it. There's a method to it, and I'll walk you through it step by step." He held up the ruler first. "For length, you measure when fully erect. That's critical because flaccid measurements fluctuate. Too much temperature, stress, even time of day can affect it. Use a rigid ruler, not a tape, for length. Place it along the top side of the penis, from the base where it meets the pubic bone to the tip of the glans. Press the ruler gently into the pubic bone. To account for any fat tissue there, it's called the bone press method, and it's what studies use for consistency." Rowan nodded, his face a mix of concentration and mild embarrassment. Aarav went on, "Don't pull or stretch the penis unnaturally, and don't measure from the underside. Just keep it straight, take the measurement, and that's your length." Next, Aarav picked up the flexible tape. "For girth, you need a tailor's tape or even a piece of string you can mark and measure later. Again, do this when fully erect. Wrap the tape around the thickest part of the shaft, usually the middle or just below the glans. Don't pull it too tight, just let it sit snugly against the skin. Note the measurement where the tape overlaps. That's your girth and circumference." He paused, letting Rowan absorb the instructions. "One tip: measure a few times over different days to account for natural variations. Things like arousal level or even hydration can cause slight differences." Rowan scribbled notes on his phone, his earlier tension easing as the conversation turned technical. "So, what if I'm like below average?" he asked, his voice steadier now. Aarav leaned forward, his tone firm but kind. "Here's the thing, Rowan. Size doesn't determine function or satisfaction, yours or your partner's. Studies, like those from the Journal of Sexual Medicine, show that most partners prioritize emotional connection, communication, and technique over size. If you're within the normal range, and even if you're slightly outside it, it's unlikely to impact your health or relationships." He paused, then added with a chuckle, "Porn and pop culture have done a number on us, making guys think they need to be superhuman. Trust me, that's not reality." Rowan cracked a small smile, but another question lingered in his eyes. "What about, if it's too small? Like, medically?" Aarav nodded, ready for this one. "There's a condition called micropenis, but it's rare, less than 1% of men. It's defined as an erect length of less than 2.8 inches in adults, based on stretched flaccid measurements in clinical settings. It's usually diagnosed at birth or puberty, and often tied to hormonal issues. If you're an adult and your measurements are above that, you're not in that category. And even for those who are, treatments like hormone therapy or counseling can help. But from what you're describing, it sounds like you're just worried about being normal. Not a medical issue, the conversation shifted to practical advice. Aarav explained that concerns about size often stem from insecurity rather than actual problems. If you're curious, measure yourself properly using the method I described, but don't obsess over it. Focus on overall health, exercise, diet, mental well-being. Those impact sexual performance far more than a centimeter here or there. He also suggested open communication with partners, emphasizing that honest conversations about desires and concerns often resolved more than physical measurements ever could. As the appointment wrapped up, Rowan looked visibly lighter, his shoulders no longer hunched. "Thanks, Doc, I was so nervous coming here. But this helps," Aarav smiled, handing him a pamphlet on men's health. "Anytime, Rowan, and if you've got more questions, you know where to find me." As Rowan left, Aarav leaned back in his chair, reflecting on how many men carried the same unspoken worries. It wasn't just about measurements or averages, it was about helping them see past the myths to the reality of their own bodies. Another day, another chance to set someone at ease.